The People's Court, today, 4:30.
I really don't know why this is necessary. I told you exactly what happened. I was tricked into making that confession.
Raven, relax.
Spencer Varney and his friends conned me into saying what I did exactly the way they conned me for weeks.
I didn't say you had to attend this meeting. It's purely voluntary. I'll call it off if you want to.
No, I want to get this over with. The sooner the better.
Yes. Yes. Ask them to come in, please.
Well, what do you think, Mrs. Whitney? I'm told I bear a striking resemblance to your late husband.
Mr. Whitney, Mr. Varney, thank you for coming. Won't you sit down, please?
Thank you.
Mr. Carr,
Yes, Mr. Varney.
would you explain to us the exact purpose of this meeting?
It's simple enough. We all know what the problem is, and we all know how complex the issue is we're dealing with. I thought it might be beneficial if we all got together and talked it over.
Beneficial for whom?
Mr. Whitney and I aren't opposed to any meeting, Mr. Carr. That's why we're here. But if you're thinking in terms of a compromise, the answer is no.
There is to be no compromise. The issues are all well known now.
That's easy for you to say. You're not the one being asked to give up everything.
You're not being asked to give up anything, my sweet. What you have does not belong to you.
Mr. Varney, what we must clear up first is the manner in which you obtained the so-called confession from Mrs. Whitney.
I know that Mrs. Whitney is claiming that the confession was obtained under duress. That may be true, but it doesn't alter the facts.
She told the truth. It doesn't matter why.
It's not as if I was a police officer obtaining illegal evidence. I acted as a private citizen.
I understand, but I'm afraid there's another complication.
Oh, and what's that?
I think Mrs. Whitney should tell you.
It was a lie.
What was a lie?
My confession was a lie. Not one word of it is true.
I was there, Raven, remember?
You made me do it, Spencer. You know you made me do it. And if I hadn't done it, I would have been blown up in that building along with
Mr.
Smiling
Carr,
Wilson.
you're not going to sit there and listen to this, are
It is not the truth. My husband was not the imposter. You are.
The Edge of Night is brought to you by Sure Antiperspirants. In 3 convenient forms, they'll help keep you dry all day. And by new formula Era, a new combination of powerful cleaners concentrated into 1/4 cup.
To be a great detergent for all your wash means cleaning more than just the surface dirt. It means cleaning the dirts that go all the way through. It takes a combination of powerful cleaners all concentrated together. Penetrating cleaners for deep down dirts, for soaked-in grease, for seeped-in food, for ground-in collar soil. All concentrated to put more cleaning power right on the stain. It's the powerful 1/4 cup formula called Era. Watch how just a little Era cleans all the way through these 3 layers of tough stains. Put a teaspoon of Era only on the top. Its power penetrates. Rub, run under warm water, and look. The Era cleaned all the way through, even through the collar soil. That's the kind of clean you want for all your wash. Era cleans all the way through.
Raise your hand.
You got it.
Raise your hand.
You know it. You feel confident, secure.
Raise your hand.
You feel dry now.
Raise your hand.
You know why now.
Raise your hand if you're sure. Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you're sure. Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you're sure.
You've got it. That Sure, secure, confident feeling. Because each Sure gives you enough protection to help feel dry all day.
Confident, confident, dry and secure. Raise your hand if you're sure. Raise your hand if you're sure.
Here you are. Oh, thank you. Aren't you having anything?
Nothing alcoholic. I think I'd fall right to sleep if I did.
Oh, all right. I won't stay long.
Oh, please don't take that as a hint, Nancy. I'm very happy to finally have you here.
Why?
Because I could always talk to you. And because there are a couple of things I've been wanting to talk to you about. First, I think that you deserve to know the ending of the bandaged lover story. You did write the beginning of it in the paper.
Oh, go on.
Oh, well, the bandages have come off, and you're not going to believe who Jim really was.
So you've heard about Raven's confession?
Do you already know?
Well, I know that she's admitted that the man named Jefferson Brown went to your father's clinic using Jim Dietrichson's name.
Well, I'm glad you know. I guess you can imagine how that makes me feel. It's all too much. I mean, what a terrible judge of character I was. Maybe I still am.
Oh, now, Valerie, wait a minute, please. You were very young at the time. It's normal to be romantic and impressionable.
I was too romantic and too impressionable. That's what Kelly always said, anyway. He did. Yeah, he did. Which is the other thing I wanted to talk to you about. I need you to know that I feel really guilty about his leaving. I feel like it was my fault, and that I let him down.
Well, I know that he had hopes for the two of you, but it doesn't mean that you felt the same.
Yeah, but I allowed him to have those hopes. And I pretended that Jim wasn't important to me. And I guess I really did want to believe that.
So, what now?
Well, Kelly's out of my life. And Jim, I don't know.
It was a conspiracy, and you were the one who organized the whole thing just to get me to make that ridiculous confession.
I knew nothing about the scam until I followed Nora Fulton to the phony precinct house.
That is a lie.
Raven, from your own account of what happened, you never saw Mr. Varney until after you were released on bail.
Well, he was working behind the scenes.
But Mr. Varney's account matches that given to us by Jim Dietrich.
I am the victim around here, not them! Spencer, you know you tricked me. You know that confession was a lie because I didn't even kill Jinx Avery.
I got it directly from Mr. Gentry. Signature was genuine.
Mr. Carr, you heard the tape.
Yes, Mr. Whitney, I heard the tape.
Did it sound phony to you?
That would be difficult to ascertain.
Well, was Mrs. Whitney prompted in any way? Did it sound as if Spencer was trying to give her the answers?
Yes, exactly what happened. Spencer told me everything I was supposed to say.
That's not true.
Mrs. Whitney, I understand that recently you've been through a rather harrowing experience in which you imagined that you might very well lose your freedom. You know that could still come to pass.
What are you talking about?
In exchange for a calm, orderly transfer of all property immediately to me, I would be willing to forego any criminal charges against you. And considering the preponderance of evidence against you, I can imagine that it would be very likely that the next place you'll be, you might just be lucky to have a toothbrush to call your own.
You're nowhere near the man my husband was.
All right, that's enough. I want you both to stop these charges.
Mr. Carr, what is your opinion?
If I gave you an opinion, it would be strictly a personal one.
I'd like to hear it just the same.
The one fact that seems irrefutable to me is that Mrs. Whitney did not volunteer that confession. Judging from the testimony about the faked murder and the false incarceration, there's no question that whatever the truth of this matter, that confession was obtained under duress. In a court of law, it would be inadmissible.
Thank you, Mike. I'll talk to you soon.
Really crispy. That's new Doritos brand Crispy Lights tortilla chips. And that light, crispy texture is why they go so well with hamburgers. Crispy Lights are just the ticket. With a nice hot bowl of soup.
With wedding cake? Probably not.
But that light, crispy texture really makes the sandwich sit up and take notice. Crispy Lights go anywhere potato chips go.
New Doritos Crispy Lights from Frito-Lay. Food tastes better everywhere they go.
This is the whole grain world. This is the world of Nutri-Grain. Starting now, it's a world for raisin lovers, too. Introducing Nutri-Grain wheat and raisin cereal. The only one with a whole heap of plump raisins, plus flaked whole grain. The bran, the germ, everything, with no sugar added. Welcome to a taste you've never known.
Nutri-Grain, a whole grain difference.
In new wheat and raisins.
Say, what's this all about, Chief? This is the first time you've actually invited me into your office for almost a month.
We'll find out soon enough. Sit down.
Are we waiting for somebody?
Yeah, but it's not Calvin.
Oh, Calvin's in New York, isn't he?
No, he got in this evening. As a matter of fact, he's in the TCR right now doing some work, making up for lost time, I hope. Hey, listen, is something wrong with him? He hasn't smiled once since he's been back.
I think Calvin has a domestic problem, Chief.
Well, I heard a rumor that his wife's going to have a baby. Is that true?
I think you'd better ask him yourself.
Because that's so unusual. A guy having his first kid, he's usually handing out cigars.
Well, maybe you thought you wouldn't approve. I mean, sometimes it seems like you want all your cops to be all business around here, right?
Excuse me. Yes, Helen. No, of course, send him right in. Captain?
See?
You two, I'm sure, remember each other?
Sure. Captain Valducci? What is this, about the investigation?
Yes, I thought you'd like to know about the results.
Sure, I'd like that very much.
There'll be a formal department memo, but Chief Mallory thought you'd appreciate hearing it from me firsthand.
Relax. If it was bad news, you would have waited for the memo.
First of all, let me make one point clear. Nobody, but nobody in internal affairs or on the Civilian Review Board ever thought there was any real merit to that brutality charge.
Well, great. You'd never have known it from all those poker faces sitting around the table.
Well, intuition is one thing, but fact is another.
Yeah, the fact that Vincent Green worked for Eddie Lorimer, the fact that Eddie Lorimer had a grudge against you, and the fact that the key witness was Lorimer's secretary.
It smelled to high heaven right from the beginning, Tyler. But it was the alleged bride that got to us. That fur coat you presumably bought to buy off the witness?
You mean the one Eddie Lorimer left in my apartment?
Well, we had a receipt with your name on it from a legitimate fur dealer.
Yeah, that was the sticky part, until we got that tip.
What tip?
We had an anonymous phone call. Somebody tipped us off that the so-called legitimate fur dealer was owned by a blind corporation. A corporation set up by, guess who?
Eddie Lorimer.
Of course, so you can be real glad that we got that tip from whoever she was.
She?
Grab that, will you? Only don't say I'm here, huh? I want to get home early for a change.
Okay, I've got it. Mr. Lorimer's office. I'm sorry, but Mr. Lorimer's gone home for the day.
But I wasn't calling your boss, Poppy. I was calling you.
That's a bad habit you're developing. Calling me at the office.
Now, don't worry. If Eddie had been there, I would have talked to him about nothing at all.
Isn't that what you two always talk about?
I have to see you, Poppy.
No, Mr. Endicott. How many times do I have to tell you? Never call me here. Never.
Inside every Duncan Hines brownie, there's a deep, dark difference.
Sure looks chocolatey.
How's it taste?
Deep, dark, and delicious.
Goodness.
The deep, dark difference in a Duncan Hines brownie is its chocolatey moistness. Compared to another leading mix, ours are chocolatier and moister.
Try one.
Well.
Deep, dark, delicious. Duncan Hines brownies. Deep, dark, and delicious.
I expect my kids to steal my safeguard, but my own sister? Wasn't me. I brought my own soap.
You mean you don't know about Safeguard's unbeatable deodorant soap protection?
Or Safeguard's rich lather?
Or the fresh scent?
No. But I'm gonna find out.
What about your soap?
Most soaps don't lather up this rich, even when they're big.
My own sister. My Safeguard isn't safe with anyone.
For the combination of lather and protection, fresh-smelling Safeguard's the smallest soap in the house.
Some people like my pies burning to my singing.
Oh, but honey, I like your singing, too.
Oh, go on. My family does love pie. But you have to make a pie right before it turns out good. That's why I use Crisco. Look how flaky Crisco gets my pie crust. Tastes better than cold watermelon on a hot day.
Well, how about some seconds?
You haven't finished first yet.
Well, I'm working on it.
All vegetable, no cholesterol, Crisco.
Crisco will do you proud every time.
Well, now.
Calvin, Chief said you were back. That was a short trip.
Yeah, well, I did what I wanted to do.
Obviously, you talked to Star then.
Yeah, I saw it.
So what happened? I'm sorry, you don't have to tell me. It's none of my business.
Come on, Tyler, would you knock it off? I mean, I've been talking to you about this thing since the beginning. It would be kind of silly to clam up now, wouldn't it?
Well, Calvin, you know, I just want the outcome to be happy for you, that's all.
Yeah, well, thanks. Star is coming home anyway.
She is? Because of the baby?
Oh, sort of. They want to close the show in about 6 weeks anyway. So she's coming back, and I don't think she'll look for work until after the kid's born.
I see.
Actually, I'm relieved. I mean, at least there was no scene about how long she should continue to stay employed. I told you how strenuous I thought that show was.
I'm sure that's right. So it sounds like it was a positive encounter for both of you.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, we decided that we would do everything we could to try and make things like they were in the beginning, you know?
Well, that's a positive attitude, so you feel good about it.
I think we did the right thing.
Well, the baby makes a difference, right?
It's all the difference between just a marriage and a real family.
Well, that's important, Calvin.
So they say it makes the world go round.
So tell me, did you two talk about Dee Dee?
No. We just talked about the future. I mean, I didn't think anything else was important just now, you know? We're gonna try and make it, Damien. We promised to try real hard, and not just for the baby. For each other.
You really don't understand the word no, do you?
I've always felt a woman meant maybe when she said no, and yes when she said baby.
Well, maybe the little bimbos you know are like that. I'm not.
Oh, you should be flattered. I'm so persistent.
I just think it's dumb for you to come over here.
I had no choice. I have a monumentally boring dinner tonight, complete with after-dinner tributes and windy speeches about art with a capital A. I simply had to see you before I went.
Well, take a look. Okay? Satisfied?
No.
You know, this is really crazy. I mean, right here in Eddie's own office. Do you know what he'd do if he knew?
It's what I want to do that counts at the moment.
I told him I'd have all this filing done. You do want me to keep his files in order, don't you?
Yes, my sweet, of course I do. I want you to keep Eddie's files in excellent order so that you can keep a close watch on them. And by the way, may I have some of these?
You're really making me nervous now.
Am I?
I think you'd better go to that dinner of yours.
Well, 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 what a nice surprise. Mr. Endicott. Imagine finding you here.
Hello, Eddie. I dropped in to ask your lovely secretary a business question.
Oh, so that's what this little tete-a-tete is all about, huh? I can't believe it. Imagine that, a big shot like you, Mr. Endicott, coming down to my lowly little junkyard just to ask my cute little secretary about some business, huh?
Well, I see there's no hiding the truth from you, Eddie. Yes, it was Poppy I came to see. We met by chance one evening. I came by to ask her out for a drink with me.
Oh, I see. Well, look, I mean, I understand. That's perfectly all right. You know what? Why don't I do the filing, and you two go ahead and have a drink. Have a good
No,
time.
Eddie, I don't have very much more to do.
It's okay, sweetheart. Go ahead. You two go. Have a good time. Don't worry. I have nothing else to do. I'll take care of it.
That's very decent of you, Eddie. Very decent indeed.
But, Eddie...
Come along, my dear. I know a delightfully cozy spot not far from here.
Bye, Eddie. Bye-bye. Have a nice time.
Thank you.
better slow down. They might run out of that stuff.
Yeah. Or we run out of money to pay for it. You know how much this suit sent me back? Did you bring any money with you?
I have some. I think I'd better check at the bar and make sure they accept credit cards.
Libby.
Oh, that's a dangerous toy. Why don't you put it away?
Spencer told you to get rid of it, I'm told, but you decided to keep it, I see.
Why shouldn't I? It belongs to me.
Close the door. I said close the door.
Would you please tell me what this is all about?
Well, that's very simple. It's about murder.
Are you mad?
No, I'm not mad. I'm not angry. I'm not sad. I'm not concerned about life, and I'm not concerned about death. When you go through certain experiences, you end up with that reaction to things. I believe combat veterans must have something like it.
I see. This is a threat, is it? You think you can frighten me into giving you that tape?
The tape, yes, the tape. I hope you still do have the tape. You haven't destroyed it, have you?
You know how you can get it, Sky. Make me that promise.
How do you know that I would be telling you the truth?
I'd know, my darling.
That's what Spencer said, yes.
Give me that thing.
Don't try it. It won't work.
Do you think murder will? Then pull the trigger. Pull the trigger, Sky. Kill me. You think it'll mean that much to me? It won't. You see, I don't care that much about being alive.
You're lying, Libby. You want to live very much.
You're right. But not as much as you do, Sky. And if you kill me, your future won't be much either, will it? Prison life is never much fun, I hear.
Give me that tape.
No, darling. The tape is going with me tonight.
Where are you going?
Back to Switzerland. I'm taking the afternoon flight to Zurich. Unless, of course, you kill me. The choice is yours.
Give me that tape.
No.
All right.
You are mad!
No. I'm not mad. But you were right before. Prison life is unbearable. For women as well as men.
What are you talking about?
What do you think the police will think when they dig the bullet out from the couch and match it with the one that they dig from the body of Jeff Brown? Yes, operator. Get me the police, please. What do you think that the police will do then?
It's taken care of, Scott.
Oh, sorry. Did you happen to see a telephone around here?
There's one at the bar.
Do you still have that telephone credit card?
Yes. Why?
Let me have it. I need it. I'll make a long-distance call. A very long-distance call. Yeah.
When summer brings itchy inflammation, like insect bites, poison ivy, and allergic rashes, scratching can lead to infection. That's why you need Caldecort. Caldecort. Cal-de-Cort. With hydrocortisone to stop the itch. Caldecort quickly penetrates into skin with a maximum strength of hydrocortisone allowed without a prescription. So nothing is more effective to help keep you from scratching your itch to infection than Caldecort. with hydrocortisone.
The 9 Live Soft Moist Report with Walter Lecat.
Good evening.
Special message, Mr. Lecat.
9 Live Soft Moist now offers gourmet grill. Oh, my heart. Turkey, bacon, and cheese. Turkey, bacon, and cheese. What a combination. What a time to be alive. What a time to be a cat. 9 Live Soft Moist Gourmet Grill. Somebody open this can. Good night and good eating.
Friday, Katie wants a new look.
You want Bo Derek's nose?
You gotta start somewhere.
Benson. And Nancy hits on a baseball player.
I don't suppose you want your tobacco back.
Making a living. And the fight is over. Controversy lingers. Holmes versus Clooney. Decide for yourself.
Allô?
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 Allô? Allô, qui est à l'appareil?
C'est François?
Oui, c'est moi, oui.
François, c'est Bruno qui est là?
Écoutez, parlez un peu plus fort, je ne comprends pas un mot à ce que vous racontez. Oui. Bruno.
Bruno? Bruno, oui.
Bruno, oui, il n'y a pas de
Oui,
Bruno.
he's there, I don't believe it. Oui, c'est très important. Oui.
Vous êtes américain? Attendez, une petite seconde.
A man called Bruno.
C'est peut-être vous. Je crois que ça vient d'Amérique. Merci. Yeah.
Bruno, is that you?
Who is this?
Let's just say a friend. I'm calling from the United States. Can you hear me, Bruno?
Double whiskey, s'il vous plaît. Yeah, I hear you. But I'm not going to listen to you if you keep calling me by that stinking name. My name is Gunther. Merci.
This new adhesive bandage, Trico Mesh, fits like skin, so it stays on better. I'll prove it to you. The name is Trico Mesh, and it's better than any plastic bandage. Since it's not plastic, it doesn't gap, it doesn't wrinkle, it doesn't curl up. Because new Trico Mesh is a weave of fibers, it fits like your own skin, so it stays on better. Remember this new name for your family, Trico Mesh from Band-Aid brand. Because it fits like your skin, it stays on better, and not just for tennis.
I don't know about you, but I want my skin to be as soft as it can be. It's important to me. That's why I use the softest powder. Try this. You'll be surprised. Johnson's baby powder is so much softer than any other powder, you can feel the difference. You can really feel the difference. So if being your softest is important to you, like it is to me, always remember your Johnson's baby powder from Johnson & Johnson, so you can be as soft as you can be.
Tomorrow, a team of female agents risk their lives to break up a ruthless gang of truck hijackers on today's FBI. And a smooth-talking guy tries to persuade his pretty neighbor to...
We interrupt our regular program schedule to bring you the following special report from ABC News in Washington. Here is correspondent Frank Reynolds.
Good afternoon. Former Secretary of State Alexander M. Haig, Jr. is about to enter an auditorium at the State Department to make a statement. His resignation was announced by the President less than an hour and a half ago. It came, of course, as a bombshell to all of Washington, and I should imagine to the world, that the Secretary's resignation was announced at this time. He has not yet made any statement since the President made the announcement, but we're told that the Secretary will come to the State Department auditorium, the Dean Acheson auditorium there, and make a statement. We're also advised that he will not answer any questions. But I can assure you the room is jammed with reporters who will be willing to try to get him to answer some questions, so perhaps the Secretary will then be able to shed some light on why this totally unexpected development has occurred. I say totally unexpected, although, of course, he has had rather a rocky road in the Reagan administration ever since taking office. Numerous battles for turf, if you want to put it that way. The question of who has complete control over foreign policy. On the inauguration day, as a matter of fact, he submitted a memorandum to Ed Meese suggesting that he be given complete control of foreign policy. And he lost that one. And then there was a tiff with Vice President George Bush over who would be in charge of the crisis management team in the White House. And Bush won that one. The Secretary, Mr. Haig, has also had some difficulties with other White House officials, notably Richard Allen, the former National Security Advisor. Here he is now coming in, and we'll hear from former Secretary Haig.